My name is Tom Sterrick. I'll be your host this evening. At this time, I would like to introduce Plain Local Schools Athletic Director and Head Varsity Football Coach, Scott Garcia.
Thanks. I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and congratulate all of our inductees on our fourth Hall of Fame class. This has been a real unique experience for me because, I had the opportunity to grow up in Plain Local, and a lot of our inductees I got to admire, as a kid growing up and looking up to them. And then you kind of move on, and, I have another opportunity to have some of my classmates and teammates get inducted to the Hall of Fame. And now with Dustin, I've coached some of these guys, and now I'm coaching some of their kids, and it's kind of crazy. I'm getting old, I guess. But before we get started here tonight, I just want to recognize a few people that really make this event go. First of all, Mary Frisbee and Linda Kabilis, who are out there at the table. They do a lot of things in our athletic department that go unnoticed, kind of behind the scenes, and we'd be lost without them. They do a great job, and I really want to just recognize them and really appreciate all that they do for our athletic department. Also, Karen Vrabeck, another one that did a lot behind the scenes, getting things ready and coordinating things with our inductees tonight to get them. We have some people from out of town, and I really want to thank Karen for her efforts. Vince Gardado back here. Vince is another one. I don't know what we would do without him. He's involved with just about everything, with our athletic teams from youth sports all the way through high school. Did great work on the plaques. These plaques are probably the nicest Hall of Fame plaques, in any high school Hall of Fame that you can imagine. They're unbelievable. We have the president of our Golden Eagle Athletic Association there in the back, John Gattano. Another one that just does a lot of things, for our youth programs, for our high school programs. The work that went on out at the stadium. I know Doug came into town, has never seen our high school, and just, was amazed at what went on out there. And John's a big reason for that, and we really appreciate everything he's done for us. I'd like to have our head coaches that are in attendance. If you guys could stand up and be recognized. We have Brian Crossy, who is our head boys cross-country coach. Scott Farrell, who is our girls cross-country coach and also our head boys and girls track coach. Chris Shorston is our boys golf coach. We have Brent Walker in the back there as our girls soccer coach. Krista Ross over here in the corner is our head girls basketball coach. And Linda Kabilis also, she does double duty out there. She's our head girls golf coach. So thank you guys for your attendance tonight. Okay, last, I'm going to call our superintendent, Mr. Brent May, up. Brent May, since he's taken over, he's been around for a long time. Really supports our athletic programs to the fullest. He's the best superintendent that I've ever worked for. I've been in public education now for 22 years, and Brent's as good as they come. He's a great person and does a great job for our school district, and we're going to welcome Mr. Brent May.
One question for Scott. Can I call a play Thursday night? Okay, all right. I don't get around Scott on Thursday nights or Friday nights or whatever nights we play, but I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. It's an honor to be here as superintendent and to welcome this class before you. And it's an amazing group of individuals. As I look here, I see Dustin, and I remember Dustin as a freshman, and now I see you on TV and hear you, and it's pretty amazing. You're all grown up, but tonight is really about honoring you and your achievements and your legacy that you've left in the Plain Local Schools. But similar to Scott, I'd like to thank Scott and Vince and John, Tom Brabson, handling the Golden Eagle Athletic Association Hall of Fame. We do have the best Hall of Fame in Stark County, absolutely, without a doubt. As you walk down that hall at Glen Oak High School, it's amazing, and it is fun. to take the kids down there and show them the faces and the names and say, hey, one day you can be up there. And really that's what we're trying to do. The legacy and the commitment to excellence and to build something here brick by brick in this district, that's important. Also want to thank past inductees that are here tonight, coming back. Appreciate you guys coming back each year. That's important as we build a tradition and a legacy here in the school district. And then also finally, I want to thank my Board of Education, Board President Kristen Gardado in the back, Board Vice President John Halkias, Board Member Monica Gwynn in the back, Board Member Eugene Kazantis in the back as well, and then Dr. Ambrose Perdue over here. The Board of Education is very supportive in everything that we do here in the district, and I appreciate all 5 of you. So let's give them a nice round of applause. You know, as we look at a Hall of Fame class and we honor the past, and why we do that, it's important that we connect it to the present. And it's important that we learn and we hear your stories, and we understand the legacy that you left so that we can pass that on. We can pay it forward to our youngsters. And that's an important part of what we do in this district, so that as we're talking to kids, they understand what it means to be in that athletic Hall of Fame, the achievements both on and off the field. That's important. And as we look to build that tradition, that history, and that commitment here in the district, this is an important night for the entire community of Plain Local. What we're trying to do in the district is very simple, and we want to be the best. Okay, we don't want to be second. And as I look out and I see Joe Gilhousen, and I coach for Joe, and you know, every year we made improvements in the baseball program. Didn't matter what we were doing. Every year we got better. And that's the idea. We want to be the first in academics, the arts, and athletics. Okay? We want to be the best in the Stark County. We want to be the best in the state of Ohio. So as we honor you tonight, as we build this foundation brick by brick, it's important that we understand that. And it's an important night as we tell the story, as you tell your stories, that we listen and we pass those along. So on behalf of the Plain Local School District, the Plain Local Board of Education, we're glad you're here tonight. We look forward to your stories, but we also look forward to you coming back each and every year so that we can catch up, see what you're up to. We can hear some more stories, okay? We love the stories, and that we can honor you year after year after year in all that we do. So again, congratulations, and we look forward to this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent May. We have several past inductees in the audience with us tonight. Please welcome Gary Isler, Joe Gilhousen, and Sam Seipel. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce the stars of tonight's event, our 2013 Hall of Fame inductees. Doug Barr, Glenwood class of 1968. Doug participated in football, basketball, and baseball during his high school years and earned 3 letters in football as well as 2 in baseball. In football, he was named First Team All-League by the Canton Repository and First Team All-County by the Repository and WHBC Radio. Doug was the Stark County leading scorer in 1966, earning him honorable mention all Northern Ohio honors. In 1967, Kickoff Magazine named him third team All-American, as well as one of the 100 best high school backs in America. After graduation, Doug attended Michigan State University, where he earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in 1972. He played defensive cornerback for the Spartans and was a 3-year varsity letter winner. In 1971, Doug received the President's Award as Outstanding Senior Back and earned the Downtown Coaches Award Spartan of the Week. Doug is still currently ranked 5th at MSU for all-time tackles in a game, delivering 21 blows against The Ohio State University in 1969. He boasts 216 career tackles, 5 interceptions in 33 career games, and is most proud of being named to the third-team Big Ten All-Academic Grid Team in 1970. Off the field, he was president of the MSU Varsity Club and also served as a member of the Athletic Council. Please join me in congratulating Doug Barr.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Golden Eagle Athletic Association and Glen Oak High School for my selection. Being a member of a team sport, it's a little awkward, but I'm humbled to accept this on behalf of all my teammates. It truly brought a smile to my face to revisit the journey of high school and what it meant. I thank my mom for a great scrapbook so that I could revisit and think about the things that I've accomplished. But the primary thing that I want to focus on tonight is faith, family, friends, and football. 50 years ago, faith, family, friends, and football were community values. Glenwood Stadium was less than 200 yards from our back door. And we used to enjoy as kids the bands, the crowds, the lights. It was a community coming together for some special reason. My brother, a high school Hall of Fame quarterback, my sister, who saved some game film for you all to watch a little bit later on, if we can find an antique projector. My mother, father, and I, we all enjoyed the activities around the stadium in our own backyard. And the lights were there, and we knew what Friday night lights were all about. The stadium lit up our backyard for hours past our bedtime, and it was a joyous occasion. So football became another part of our family value system. Faith, family, football now, okay? If you think about it, these 4 words formed a great safety net to deal with the highs and lows of particularly life in sports. Faith was your moral compass, giving you hope and forgiveness. Family provided security, honesty, and love. Friends, teachers, coaches, teammates helped us enjoy the moments of success as well as temper the disappointments. Many will be truly appreciated long after you've left their sight. Football, right here at Glen Oak, was the platform to be part of something bigger than you, a team, a community, working together for a common success. Who we are, what we become, and how we adapt to the ever-changing world are building blocks we formulate as part of our success, as part of this successful school system. Football changed my life, shaped my life, and is still part of my life. High school set the stage, college rounded out the person you see in front of you today. Together, they helped me achieve things I wouldn't have thought possible, both professionally and personally. That's why high school athletics are character builders that give us the edge on the competition in the classroom and the job market. Hard work, extra effort, mental toughness, perseverance, discipline, dedication, dealing with adversity, they're all cornerstones that we learned right here in high school. We started adapting them here, and if you were really good, you started perfecting them here. Sound familiar? It really works. It starts here, it grows here, and it becomes part of your life core. Commitment matters in sports and education, separating the haves from the have-nots in life's challenges. How we adapt to these challenges equals success, and it all starts right here at Glen Oak High School. In closing, for a football player, we all strive to get to that next level. If you're fortunate enough to get there on a big stage, Justin and I have experienced that, you will know the ultimate joy when the crowd of 90,000 cheers as you exit the tunnel. You hear the singing of the national anthem, and when the military jets fly over, you realize just how truly lucky you are to be a football player. The hair stands up on the back of your neck. You've all felt this when you've almost been in a car accident and it didn't happen. If you don't feel the love for faith, family, and football, you don't really appreciate the gifts of the game when all that's happening. So for everybody that's an athlete, it's very simple. Play with passion, enjoy the moment, and have no regrets about your efforts. Thank you again. I really appreciate this, and I'm humbled by it all.
Thank you. Our next inductee, Mike Fiddleholtz, Glen Oak class of 1978. Mike was a standout in both basketball and baseball during his career at Glen Oak, earning 2 varsity letters in basketball and 3 varsity letters in baseball. In basketball, he received all-county and all-league honors in both 1977 and 1978. His baseball talents earned Fiddleholtz all-league honors 3 years in a row, as well as 2 all-county and all-state recognitions in 1977 and 1978. After graduating from Glen Oak, Mike attended Miami University of Ohio, earning a bachelor degree in communications. While at Miami, he was a 4-year varsity letterman in baseball. As a freshman in 1979, he threw a no-hitter against The Ohio State University and helped Miami win the MAC championship. Please join me in recognizing Mike Fiddleholtz.
Thank you. Thank you. One thing I want to say about Doug Barr, all of the things that he did, I just learned this from him. He did that without playing his senior year. So all of that stuff you hear is through his junior year. Pretty amazing. You know, you know, standing up here, I mean, this whole evening has just been, you know, from the time I walked in here. I missed my class reunion that was, I think, a couple weeks ago, like August 17th. It was actually my birthday. And I didn't make it to that, but making it to this has, I guess, you know, filled that gap. I mean, I'm seeing people that I haven't seen for a lot of years. I don't live in Canton. I've lived away from Canton now for over 30 years. I moved away when I was a pretty young guy, you know, probably 24 or 25. I've lived in North Carolina. I live up in Michigan now. I know that's not it's that place up north, you know, to you folks. But it is so good to be back here. I mean, to see, you know, Joe Gilhausen. You know, Joe was, you know, a big part of you know, what I did with basketball and baseball. You know, at basketball, he was an assistant coach. Bob Glassburn, if any of you remember him, was the head coach. You know, Joe was the assistant there, you know, while I played, and of course he was the head coach, you know, of the baseball team, and you know, all of his accomplishments are pretty legendary, I guess. He is a legend in the state of Ohio, and you know, I played for Joe at you know, pretty early on. One of the things I remember, I don't know if it was as a junior or a senior, we didn't have a home field. We played at Boers Field, which was, I don't even know what road that was, Martindale Road or Middlebury, whatever that was that went out there. But we didn't even have a home field. And, you know, so to go through all that and, you know, with Joe, you know, those years, you know, in the summers, he got us jobs. You know, some of us guys, we were on the paint crew. You know, we got to play, you know, I played, you know, on the same team with Joe, you know, after I graduated. So, you know, even though he suspected that I drank beer, he confirmed that I drank beer after I graduated. So, and it was pretty funny last night. My wife and I, we were out, and we had gone to, it was kind of the thing after every game. I mean, we were going to drink some beer somewhere, and we were going to probably get some pizza. And it usually came from Pizza Oven. And so last night, my wife and I, you know, we're here. We don't really have anywhere to be, nowhere to go, and we're tired. We had traveled down here, you know, spent some time, you know, at the hospital, seeing some, you know, seeing my mother-in-law who's awful ill, and we ended up at Pizza Oven or at Papa Bear's, which is pizza oven. And so we're sitting there, we order a pizza, and we're drinking beer. And she looks at me and she goes, this is exactly, what we did, 30 some years ago. This is just how we did it. Except we were actually sitting in a place instead of, in someone's backyard. But, so those are great memories, playing for Joe, at Glen Oak, playing, for Dr. Pepper and Isler's, which was actually for Gary Isler, who's here tonight. Thanks for being here, Gary. Appreciate that. And great summer teams, and a lot of great memories. I guess I also want to just say thanks to first my wife, for being here and for sitting here with her iPhone, recording this whole event so she can send it to my kids at college so they can show it to all their teammates and laugh. So. And my brother Steve, who's here, Steve's still here in town. Has a big job there at EMP. Glad he made it out tonight. My cousin Tim Benavenia, my good friend Norm Scritchfield, who's somewhere in here. I don't know where Norm went. There he is. Norm's son played for Glen Oak. I think he graduated this year. Actually played for Norm's dad when I was a little kid, this whole thing, coming back and seeing people that I haven't seen for a long time, and seeing what Glen Oak's done with, obviously they built a new school. I went 1 year to Oakwood and then 3 years to Glen Oak. So, and then to see this new building that they have and all this stuff, and this thing tonight, it's all first class. It is so classy. I'm sure that maybe schools like, McKinley or Massillon, maybe they've been doing this for a while, but man, this is a great thing. I'm humbled by being here and being nominated for this. It's really, really an honor. I'm really tickled with it and being here tonight. And so I hope that, that this continues on, and that, the folks that follow, I know it's only the 4th year, but I hope that, 50 years from now, this is still happening. Maybe long after I'm gone, and this is still going on. So, again, I appreciate everyone being here. Like I said, I'm flattered. I'm humbled to think that whatever it was that I did 35 years ago, that you folks are here to recognize that tonight, that there was someone in the city that still remembered that I actually played baseball or basketball. It's really a cool thing. So I guess with that, I'll say, thank you and congratulations to everyone else here being honored tonight. So.
I think Mike's buying beer and pizza for everyone after this event. So. Our next inductee this evening, Dustin Eric Fox, Glen Oak class of 2000. Dustin was an all-around athlete at Glen Oak High School, earning a total of 8 varsity letters playing football, basketball, and track. In track, he earned all-Ohio recognition for his abilities as a long jumper and speed in the 4x100 during the 1988 through 2000 seasons. Dustin is most recognized for his outstanding efforts on the football field, earning 3 all-county recognitions, as well as being named First Defensive Team Division I Associated Press, All-Ohio, his junior and senior year. He participated in the first ever U.S. Army All-American Bowl in December of 2000. Dustin was a 4-year starter for The Ohio State University, helping to lead the team to the BCS championship in 2002 at the Fiesta Bowl. His accomplishments that year earned him a spot on the All-Big Ten team. Dustin graduated from Ohio State with a bachelor's degree in communications. He was drafted in the 3rd round of the 2005 NFL Draft by the Minnesota Vikings. Dustin played 5 seasons in the NFL for the Vikings, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Buffalo Bills. Following his retirement from the NFL, Dustin was signed by Cleveland's own News Channel 5 as the Ohio State Buckeyes football analyst. He hosted the WKNR AM 850 OSU pregame show in 2010 and has been WKRK 92.3, The Fan, afternoon sports radio host since 2011. Dustin was named to the Stark County High School Football Hall of Fame in 2012. Please join me in honoring Dustin Fox.
Thank you. Appreciate that. First off, I do a radio show every day where I talk 5 hours, which is a long time. So trust me, this will be much shorter than that. I'll try and keep it as brief as possible. When I got the call from Coach Garcia to tell me that I was going to be inducted into the Glen Oak Hall of Fame, I was pretty much blown away because, first off, my brother, who's 5 years older than me, is my hero, and he's, to me, much better athlete, much better player. I believe he should be here before me, but I appreciate the fact that Coach Garcia is one of those people that is putting me in this thing. So I'm sure he'll be here eventually, but I just wanted to say that I looked up to him. I'm sure he'll be here very soon. Congratulations, by the way, to everybody who's being inducted tonight. How about a round of applause for these guys? Glen Oak and Stark County and Plain Local pretty much means everything to me. I've lived all across the country, lived in Minnesota, Buffalo, Columbus, Philadelphia, playing sports my entire life. And when I was finally got signed by the Bills in 2007, my wife and I decided that we wanted to buy a house and make home here in Stark County because we realized how important Stark County is to us. We have family here and wanted to be a part of the community. Still do my football camp with Coach Garcia with the high school. This was I think it was the 8th season this year we've done that with the youth kids. So I think it's important to always give back to this community because it's where I came from. It's where I started. It's where I've everything that I've been given or earned or whatever. It came from Glen Oak. It came from Plain Local and from these coaching staffs. I played 3 sports at Glen Oak. I played basketball, I played football, I ran track. I was very, very blessed to have some of the most tremendous coaching staffs ever. And going to Ohio State, playing in the pros, it doesn't matter. The coaching staffs here, the teachers, second to none. It's unbelievable when I think back to the days at Glen Oak, the work ethic that I was instilled by some of these guys. I think back to with Coach Garcia, and we were talking and having a good time. It's funny now, you can actually have a beer with your coach. It's kind of weird. But no, seriously, I mean, we're just talking about some of the old practices that we had at Malone College, and you think back to some of those days, and I remember the workouts that we did and how hard we worked, vomiting at practice. And you just can't get that anywhere else. You can't get that. And I'm serious. And athletics teaches you something in life.
Now you get sued.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it really does. It teaches you to never give up. It doesn't matter what you're dealing with in life, and sports really teach you that. I was fortunate enough to like I mentioned, Coach Garcia was a great coach. Jack Rose, Fred Thomas. Coach Nicodemo, Coach McCartney in basketball. All these guys had a tremendous impact on my life and just kind of helped me get to where I'm at today. I do want to thank those guys. Coach Rose, again, to this day, is one of the best coaches I've ever had in football. He's unbelievable. Still here, still coaching with Coach Garcia. I remember Coach Garcia was coaching defensive line. Coach, were you like 22 years old when I was playing for you? I mean, he still looks like he's 30. I mean, come on. Coach is doing such a good job with the football team here. One of the things that I'm so proud of when it comes to looking back at Glen Oak and some of the things that we did, and Coach Garcia and Coach Farrell, we talk about this, is, Glen Oak football in general, I felt like we always had talent. We always had the most kids that would go out and play, but I don't think we knew how to win. And there was something that happened, I think, my senior season there in 2000, where we made the playoffs the first time, and God, it was like 15 years or something. And we kind of turned the page with not just football, but with all sports, to say that we're going to dominate. We have the most talented players, but it's a mentality. And it started not just with us as our senior class, but with the coaching staffs and everybody. So I'm really proud of that, because I look back now, and I'll tell you, I think back to the days when we were 1-9 my sophomore season, and our only win was against Painesville Riverside, and we got our asses kicked every single week. And that was painful, and it was embarrassing. And I'm just telling you, I look back now, and it's like I'm checking the paper, I'm going to the games. Glen Oak is dominating in not just football, but all sports, academics. This township, Plain Local Schools is doing big things. The school is unbelievable. The facilities are second to none. And I think it just speaks to the people that are here. And I'm so thankful. I'm so blessed to be a part of this. And I'll do whatever it takes to get back, as long as I live, because this is where I'm from. And I appreciate everything. Thank you guys so much.
Our next inductee this evening, John Haropoulos, Glen Oak class of 1982. A member of the Stark County High School Wrestling Hall of Fame, John was a standout wrestler for Glen Oak, garnering second place in the Ohio High School Athletic Association State Tournament in 1982. He earned 2 varsity letters in wrestling, as well as all-county and all Federal League titles in 1981 and 1982. He was also a 2-time sectional champion his junior and senior year. Following high school, John attended Slippery Rock University for 2 years and then transferred to Iowa State University, where he earned a Bachelor of Business Administration degree in 1987. He was an NCAA Division I finalist, an All-American wrestler in 1986, and a 4-time national qualifier to NCAA Division I championships from 1983 to 1986. John holds 131 career combined victories as a wrestler at both Slippery Rock and Iowa State. He was a 2-time Division I Eastern Region champion at Slippery Rock during 1983 and 1984. John was inducted into the Stark County Amateur Sports Hall of Fame in 1989. Please join me in welcoming John Haropoulos.
Well, thank you very much. First, I'd like to thank the Glen Oak Athletic Association and Plain Local Schools. What a tremendous honor. I, too, was very surprised when I got a call from Scott Garcia about this. I was very flattered. And, growing up in Plain Township in the 1970s, the names I remember are names like Fox and Deerdorf. And I guess they remember another Fox, and there'll probably be more down the road. So, yeah. So, I started wrestling in 7th grade, and I remember my very first wrestling match. That's kind of late these days, I think. I think kids get started a lot earlier. But I was wrestling for Taft Junior High School, and I had a pair of Converse red tennis shoes in 1977. That's what I wore out there. And I really didn't know what I was going to do when I got on the mat. I think Ken Hansen, was that the name of the coach? Yeah, so I went out and this kid from Arlington just charged me and hit me in the chest, knocked me on my back, pinned me like in 10 seconds. And I came off the mat and got a chewing out from my coach. And I learned right then, that was my first lesson about wrestling. You get knocked to your back, get off your back. And so that was my first wrestling match. My last wrestling match was in March of 1986 in Carver Hawkeye Arena. And I was wrestling for a national title against a kid from the University of Michigan. Unfortunately, I lost both matches. The national title match was much closer. It was 6-3. But what happened in between there is really a testament to the support and the beginning I got in Plain Township. And I want to acknowledge 3 people that are here who I invited. I mean, in addition to my family, I expect them to come to something like this, and we're all local. So they're all over there, and I'm going to hear it. They're going to be giving me a hard time, my boys, for sure, because they always do about everything I say here, so I have to be careful. But Greg Ferrara was the coach, the varsity coach when I was in 7th and 8th grade, and Lamont Bentley was my 8th grade coach, and Tim Schneider was my coach my senior year at Glen Oak. So I didn't win many matches from 7th to 9th grade. I rarely won, as a matter of fact. I got beat up a lot, really, but I stuck with it. And I had coaches like, I met Tim a little later, but Greg Ferrara was a varsity coach, and he always made me, I was kind of surprised. I wasn't really excelling in any sports at that point at Taft. So, and I loved wrestling. I just wasn't very good at it. But whenever I interacted, as we were talking before this, Greg, or somebody mentioned that when the high school coach notices you, that's big when you're in junior high. And he always acknowledged me. They made me feel like I had potential. They never discouraged me. And it's so important when you're young. You have those initial experiences in athletics. It's very easy to have that negative experience. And I never had it. I stuck with it. A negative experience with a coach, sometimes. But they were very encouraging. And then, so the guy that I had as a 7th grade coach was there for 1 year, and then my 8th grade coach became Lamont. And that was neat because Lamont had been my neighbor since I was like 11 years old. I was a little bit nervous about him becoming my coach because I knew I wasn't very good. And I was concerned because he was also like a big brother to me, that he might not like me as much when he finds out I'm not a very good wrestler. But he was a great friend, a big brother to me because I had 4 older sisters. So I was an abused child. So he was special. And then starting in 9th grade, I still was losing a lot. And then between 9th and 10th grade, I started working with the new varsity coach, a guy by the name of Steve Poole. And what Coach Poole understood is what it would take to be really good at wrestling. And it doesn't involve, it's a year-round sport. As a matter of fact, you have to be kind of a fanatic about it. And so I think someone else said they were accepting the reward for the team. I'm going to accept the reward for myself and for the coaches that work with me through high school and helped me stick with the sport as I became better. So Poole would take us to tournaments in the summertime, spent an enormous amount of time with us, and became like a second father to me. And I had great parents. They were very encouraging. They just cared more about academics than athletics. I have a sister, we're poster kids for Plain local schools. I have a sister who's a physician. My other sister, Paris, here, she's the president of Stark State College. We all came from Plain Township. And to get off the subject a little bit, I also want to say I was extremely impressed when I went to the game Thursday night with the facilities, the support in the community, very impressed with Plain Township. And so things have come a long way. I mean, it was good back then. It seems like it's gotten a lot better. So, but anyway, I got very good, through high school, but I also understood that it was a sport you had to work hard at, and taught me a lot about, wrestling's an individual sport. What I learned about was you have to be true to yourself. You want to get better, you have to critique yourself after every competition, and you have to work at it, and, that's something I learned that was very important as I moved on was, do a real self-inventory of where I need to get better. And wrestling helped me with that. As a matter of fact, everyone I remember when I was in the state finals, it seemed like everybody from Plain Township was down there. I think, I felt bad because I didn't win. But I always felt like people expected me to do well. So when I went to Slippery Rock University, which had a Division I program, I did well there as a freshman. I was 31-13. Then I learned my sophomore year that my coach was going to go to Australia for a year, and he wasn't going to be around. I qualified for nationals as a freshman, but I didn't place. So after my sophomore year, I decided to make a change because with Poole, at one point, he used to talk to me about going to the Olympics, being an All-American, and I felt like I was going to reach my goals at that school. So despite the protestations of the coach, who told me you'll never see the mat at Iowa State, you're going to be a workout partner. They've got 3 or 4 state champs. I went ahead and made the move, and it really paid off, and was able to wrestle kind of at the equivalent of playing football for Ohio State or Michigan State. That's the tradition of Iowa State. The guy that recruited me was Dan Gable's coach, the head coach there. So anyway, it was a great experience. I'm just really impressed with this whole, ceremony. It's very flattering, and I too will be happy to come back every year. I didn't go to my reunion either, so I feel kind of bad about that. But wow, this is just a great honor. I really appreciate it, and I just want to thank you.
Jerica is among Glen Oak High School's most decorated athletes in track and field. Mann competed as a sprinter while also running the 100-meter, 200-meter, 4x100, and 4x200 races. She earned 13 Federal League titles, 12 district titles, and 4 regional championships. She was a 16-time state qualifier in her 4 events over her 4 years of high school, earning a state championship in 2002 for the 4x200. Jerica received 4 varsity letters in track and was named to the All-Ohio team 12 times. She boasts 2 top 5 state team finishes and 2 top 10 state finishes, as well as 3 Federal League, 3 district, and 2 regional team championships. She set a record in the 200-meter race by running a 24.3 second. Jerica was named to the Glen Oak Track and Field Hall of Fame as part of the girls' 2002 state champions team and the state runner-up teams in 2004 and 2005, and for her accomplishments in the 100 and 200-meter races. Following high school, Jerica was an NAIA All-American while at Notre Dame of Ohio. In 2007, she competed in the National Indoor Track Meet held in Lubbock, Texas, earning top performance ratings in the 55 and 60-meter dash. Jerica attended Cuyahoga Community College and is currently at Liberty University working on a degree in criminal justice. Please join me in honoring Jerica Mann.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank God for giving me the ability to be able to run. I'm so honored to be here tonight. I would like to thank the Golden Eagles Athletic Association for accepting me in this year's 2013 Hall of Fame. When I got nominated, I was so happy. Then I realized this is for me, Jerica Mann. I may have been a 16-time state qualifier, but without my teammates, I would have not qualified that many times. I wish I was able to share this moment with all of my teammates tonight. This would not be possible without them. So I would just like to say thank you to Liz Redd, Lindsay Walker, Kayla Redmond, Deja Shear, Kylie Malinowski, Jessica Swihart, and Erica McElroy. These wonderful women were my relay teammates from 2002 to 2005 that helped me qualify 8 of the 16 times. I love all of them. I would like to thank Brian Hartline for being a team leader and a great friend, and I'm glad we were able to share our 4 years of track and field together. And I would like to congratulate him on his success. 26 years ago, My parents, Samuel and Karen Mann, were told by doctors to give up on me when my mother was 4 months pregnant. With prayer, my parents decided to take me however God made me. Now look, I'm standing here in front of all of you accepting a reward. I would like to thank my parents for never giving up on me. I remember many of nights watching track and field clips with my parents. My father giving me what I called speeches at the time, because there was many, but really it was just great advice. My mother was always there for me, no matter what. I love you guys so much. To my little brother Micah, which is sitting right there, who was the 8th grader at Oakwood, I hope I made you proud, because now when you go to high school, you will see my face every day in the hallway. I hope you will be able to be proud of me and say, that's my sister. I hope one day you will be here giving a speech in basketball or football. I love you and keep up the great work. I would like to thank my favorite teacher, well, multiple favorite teachers, but my one favorite teacher that I had was Gary King. I would like to thank him personally for being a great teacher, mentor, and friend. He helped me stay on track, made sure my homework was done, helped me when I needed extra help, and was just there to listen when I was becoming a drama queen. I also would like to thank a few of my favorite principals, Mr. Matthews, because it's been many a times where I had to go to your office. And you still was there for me no matter what. I also would like to thank Mr. Milano and Mr. Labriola, which, by the way, was my mother's 9th grade English teacher. So, I would also like to thank Mr. Palmer, Mr. Crossley, and Ms. Winkler, and all of the other coaches for making it easy to accomplish my goals because of their great foundation you had together as coaches. I can talk for hours about my favorite coach in the whole world, Scott Farrell, but I just want to give this man credit for everything. Mr. Farrell worked with me after hours, on track and field, on schoolwork. It didn't matter. He was there, even though he had his own family. And still to this day, he's there for me. He lives right down the street from my parents. So, you were the greatest coach that I could have ever asked for. You were there for me no matter what it was. I'm not trying to look at you because I may cry. So, I'm going to look down. But there was a story I wanted to tell about Coach Farrell. My sophomore year, I went to States. And we had a little while before we ran. And Farrell told us, eat light. Of course, I didn't listen to that. I had Chinese food. So, 2 hours later, I'm running the 4x1, and I'm running down, I'm halfway there, and I'm like, uh-oh, something's not right. And there was my Chinese food all down the track. And my junior and senior year after that, I was not allowed to eat Chinese food during our state meet. He made sure that. But I just want to say I'm very thankful that I had so much support in our city from the Canton Repository, my parents, family, friends, teachers, teammates, and coaches. Before I end my little speech I just want to say it's never too late to follow your dreams. I may be 26, but my heart is still into track. I would love to be a coach one day at Glen Oak High School and run maybe in one more meet in my life. Just to show my two beautiful daughters that I have, Karina, who is 5, and Camille, who is 2, that nothing is impossible. I mean, with the help from my wonderful husband, Robin Williams, I hope to accomplish my goal. So one day, you guys may see me and be like, she was never too old, and she did, had a dream and followed my dream. So one day, I hope to be able to run in another meet. Once again, thanks again to everyone who believed in me and who made this possible. And I just want to thank everybody.
Before we conclude, we would like to take the opportunity to recognize another returning inductee, Mike Paxos. Welcome. There he is back there. What an amazing class of inductees with talents spanning many years and many different sports. Thank you for joining us this evening as we honor the tradition and excellence that has become Plain Local athletics. Please join me in one last round of applause for our inductees.